Hey guys, this is Sonic19 coming to you with another deck profile. This time it's standard. If you've been on my channel before, you know I do primarily a lot of premium decks. This is my one standard deck that I own, which I'm much proud of. It's not your normal Tsukiyomi build. It is the Magus build. So starting out, we have Logic's Magus as our starting Vanguard. You know, when rolled upon, draw one card, your standard. I played 4 copies of the V-Era Magus Heal. It's a Magus card, it's a heal trigger. I played 4 copies of Oracle Guardian Nike and 4 copies of Psychic Bird. That's 8 crit in the deck. And then I played 4 copies of Miss. That's your draw PG. That's all the grade 0s for this deck. I'm going into the grade 1s. I played 3 copies of Chorus Magus. When placed on Vanguard or Rearguard Circle, check the top 2 cards of your deck, rearrange them in any order you like, replace them on top of the deck. This deck basics around stacking your triggers on top of your deck, so this is one of the cards that help you do it. Next, I played 3 copies of Rippus Magus. When you have a Magus Vanguard, she gains an additional 5k on top of her, so she will always be a 13k booster. This card is just a holding place. For Tetra Magus, which is another good card. When your Vanguard is grade 3 and the Magus, when you have a grade 3 Oracle Think Tank unit as your Vanguard, you can counterblast 1, take 1 critical, draw 1 card, take 1 critical from your hand, and place that card on top of your deck. That card works better towards this deck build. I just don't have it right now, so this is a good placeholder. Next, I play 3 copies of Penny Magus. Like I said before, this deck is based around hitting triggers. So every time your dry check reveals a trigger, she'll gain 5k. This is just another way of building up your columns. And for my last grade 3, I played 3 copies of Oracle Guardian Gemini. This deck uses a lot of counterblast. This is just a way to gain your counterblast back. So this is your primary Oracle Think Tank countercharge unit for the V-Era. Going on to the grade 2s, I play 4 copies, of Rectangle Magus. Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1. When placed on the rearguard, check the top 2 cards, just like Chorus Magus. But in addition to that, you get to draw 1 card off the top of the deck. And then just like Penny Magus, every time your dry check reveals a trigger, she gains 5k. So this is another card that helps you with your columns. In addition to that, I play 4 copies of Rhombus Magus. This card is your preventer from your opponent intercepting when she attacks. If you have a Vanguard with Magus in she gains 5k, permanent 5k. And then if your Vanguard is a grade 3, your opponent cannot intercept for her attack. And then my last grade 2 that I run, I put in 4 copies of Ravioli Magus. Another card that helps you with your columns, but she is a hard once per turn. When your dry check reveals a trigger unit, she gains 10k. So she'll stop at 19 when you hit your first dry check. That's it for the grade 2s. Going on to the grade 3s. I run 4 copies of Hexagonal Magus. This is your primary ride target. When placed, counterblast 1, look at 2 cards on the top of your deck, rearrange them in any order, then draw 1 card. Just similar to Chorus and Rectangle. But in addition to that, on Vanguard or Rearguard Circle, when your dry check reveals a trigger, she gains 5k. So similar to Rectangle Magus, Penny Magus, and Ravioli Magus. This is another way to hit high columns and make sure that your opponent are guarded. Your opponent has to overguard for these attacks. Because it's not just the extra 10k they have to worry about. It becomes an extra 15k if you put the power from the trigger on the Vanguard. The other grade 3 I run in this deck is 3 copies of Fusellini Magus. This card I want to bump up to 4. Counterblast 1, hard once per turn. Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1. One of your Vanguards with Magus in this card name gains 10k plus 1 drive. So instead of doing twin drives all the time, your Vanguard is always going to be performing a triple drive. This even works if she's the Vanguard. And finally, my last grade 3 that I run 2 copies of Pentagonal Magus. I know everyone says this is the card that you always want to ride to. In my opinion, she's your kill turn. You don't always want to see her, but she's your kill turn. Because having to always penta drive, always having that 5 drive checks, it literally forces you to deck out. So you don't always want to have her running. It's great to see her, but you don't always want to have her on the Vanguard. But in addition to that, every time you perform a drive check and you hit a trigger, all drive check triggers change from being 10k to 15k power added to any unit. So that's why she's also a very good card if you have to ride her first. That just makes your opponent have to guard more and be more careful about what they're putting in a Guardian circle, because one trigger, if their Guardians are only 10k to pass, one trigger literally breaks through that. No, I'm sorry. If your guard is 15k to pass and they're thinking that you can't pass with one trigger, that's not true, because now the trigger values are added +5, which makes them even harder to deal with. But that's basically the deck. This deck primarily runs off of Protect 1. I tried Protect 2 in this deck, and it's really not useful. You really don't care to have units on the field. For the amount of cards that you're drawing and the amount of cards that you're recycling, not having rear guards is not that big of a deal. You can easily replace any rear guards that you lose through abilities from your opponent or them slamming into them. This is one of my shorter deck builds. It's not really much to really talk about. It's just a straight line deck. Hit triggers, overwhelm your opponent with high numbers, and end the game. There's really no combos to this deck. You just do its mechanic. If you like what you saw and you have any comments or opinions or suggestions, please leave it down in the comments below. Subscribe if you're interested in seeing more. And as always, see you later.